there, my name is Laura, and for my presentation, I will be discussing the activation of the parasympathetic nervous system and core to support the subtle systems of the body during your yoga practice. Attached in the email, you will see a link that shares the points that I'm going to be covering. A lot of this is composed from the Donna Farhi book and the 7 Moving Principles, as well as Anna Forrest and her autobiography of Forrest Yoga. In the end, I will be demonstrating a couple ab exercises to activate the core and help during your asana practice. All right, so let's begin. The first subject or bullet point is over-reliance of the muscular skeletal system, which can prevent movement of breath and increase tension. You can injure yourself from leveraging too strongly off the external body and actually cause harm rather than benefit in your yoga practice if you are relying too heavily on your arms and legs or solely focusing on the muscles. Being able to be aware of this when you're in postures such as, me personally, chaturanga is one that I struggle with. And I need to pause and return to my breath, as well as understand where I am relying on is also through the core when I am coming down so I don't further injure myself. And especially to the shoulders and the neck, I have experienced a lot of physical pain. So maybe there's something in your practice which you may be struggling with or having challenges with, and being able to pause and return to the breath and be mindful of the reliance on your external versus internal is really key. So in this presentation, we are going to be discussing activation of the core and central support of the organs which stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. This is important because this allows you to slow down and breathe deeply, which when you do this, your movements become automatically measured and slowed. And this is very beneficial because rather than moving from what you think you should be doing or forcing yourself into what the pose looks like, now you are moving from within, and now you are engaging the organs, the more subtle aspects, the glands, the chakras, the different energy centers, and utilizing those in alignment as well as support in your postures. This is all really good, healthy practice, which differentiates yoga from just a basic physical exercise. Breathing slowly and deeply, like I said, triggers the support of the subtle systems of the body, which enhances inner perception and the trust to act from those subtler systems, as I stated, the organs, the glands, and the chakras. The heart and lungs support the arms and hands. The digestive tract supports the spine. The large intestine supports the legs. The glands and chakras support the chemical balances of the body and transmission of the psychophysical energies. Breathe with the awareness of these subtle supports in concert with the muscular system in each asana. This is something that I need to remind myself. It's a constant mindful practice, and it is something that as you continue daily and you set your intention and you really try to tune in and tap in to that parasympathetic nervous system, it goes together. Be willing to breathe and feel and let the cell tissue get stimulated enough that the old stuck energy can drain out. Burning sensations are a sign of cleansing of the past from cellular tissue. Your muscles need time to release. If you come out of the pose right away, you may get a flash of insight or intuition, but more likely the feeling will subside and you will miss out on the magic that the pose had to offer you. So I have experienced this when I am noticing my mind is a lot more racy, and I have my focus is just not there. I actually end up tending to hurt myself because I'm just trying to bust through it, and that's ineffective. And you really aren't centering yourself anymore. And like I said, going back to the point one, you now are becoming more automatic rather than measured and slowed. You're just mechanical, and that's where it can cause injury because you are not aware and in tune with where the energy is going and transferring, as well as your intention within that pose and holding that pose. So every cell of the body is in an ongoing rhythmic state of respiration and carries an emotional backlog. Pause and explore what you are experiencing in each asana. The cellular level of awareness is the field of which all intention forms. So breathe deeply and release and cleanse the cells. Feeling a pull and moving out of the pose doesn't give the muscles time to build, marinate, and release. When you stay in the asana for more than a few deep breaths, that's like shining a light on your path to self-discovery. So I would like to encourage folks in their personal practice to try to incorporate just mindfulness of breath, that is the actual medicine, and being able to utilize that to come back to as an anchor, which then enlivens and uplifts the inner support systems, which then allow the expansion into the external and more strength when you are in more challenging poses where you're not just relying on your limbs. Now you are utilizing your core and engaging that aspect, which is immense benefits. So to experience the cells and the subtler systems of the body, we must allow the habitual background noise of the mind and the distraction of daily activities to diminish. The secrets of our lives are stored in the cells of our DNA. It is not through external force, but a surrender to breath in which healing and true authentic discovery are reached. So again, I encourage folks to try to exercise, if possible, when possible, a little bit more patience in each pose and curiosity of what am I feeling here, and what other, aside from the bones and the muscles and the holding it, in the proper form, what else am I actually utilizing here? What might possibly be stored here in the heart, in the stomach, in the thighs, in the glutes? All these poses have insights to offer, and if we just bust through them like it's a workout, we tend to miss out on that magic. So I would like to close before going and demonstrating the abs that will stimulate and activate the core, as well as trigger the parasympathetic nervous system. I'm going to read a little piece from Anna Forrest. It's, I think, amazing. Especially in this day and age with all the uncertainties and kind of chaos that's out there. This is just really centering and grounding to hear someone with this perspective. When we struggle, we become our most stupid self. We lose contact with our deep breath. We forget all of our resources. We move in a desperate, injuring way, and then we quit, none of which is helpful for progression. Sometimes it's rage when our power has been stopped or shut down. We can feel rage at having our boundaries crossed and our creativity thwarted. This anger can get stopped up in our thighs and pelvis. For the love of people you care about, ride those waves of intensity until they crest and break. Breathe and release it before you leave the mat. If it took you 10 breaths to reach the peak of intensity, it may take another 10 breaths to release it. That is time well spent. Keeping track of the emotional backlog through each pose is beyond beneficial. This will eventually lead you to the story of your own life in which you made a crucial series of decisions that affect you forever because of the backlog still sitting in your cellular tissue. With each checked emotion, you can clean a little layer out, but you also explore your own fear edge. You're tracking something that exciting because it changed your life. You just don't know how until you've checked it all the way. You begin to question the decisions you made back then, and you can choose to live differently now. And I think that's really the gift of yoga, is that it's not just a focus on this physical and achievement of looking or appearing or, I'm treating my body so good or anything. It's this whole other spiritual aspect that encompasses it. And it's taking that practice off the mat into your daily life and being kind, not just with yourself and mindful with yourself, but how is this affecting the other person? How is this affecting my community? How is this affecting the earth, etc.? All those good stuff. So anyways, yeah, I'm gonna get to the abs. Okay, so hopefully you guys can kind of see, but what you're going to do is come onto your backs, laying down, and what you want to do is clasp your hands behind the base of your skull, allowing your back to fully immerse, rest, and relax on the mat. Deep inhale. Exhale, bringing the knees up, a little less than 90 degrees. Take a deep inhale. Raise the head and neck and shoulders up. Lift the tailbone. Extend the right leg. Lift and exhale. Inhaling back to center. Holding the head and neck and shoulders up. Take a deep inhale. Lift the tailbone up. Extend the left leg. Exhale. Head and shoulders up towards the right knee. Inhale, coming back to center. Lifting the tailbone up. Exhale. Elbows towards the left knee. Inhaling back to center, lifting the tailbone up, exhaling, elbows to right knee. Inhaling back to center, and just come down. These are very subtle movements. They're not forced, and you don't want to be forcing your elbows to touch the knees, but you want to be using the breath to do the work. The next abdominal exercise that I'm going to show you is called frog lifting through. Again, hands clasped behind your neck. If you want, you can even switch the interlace of them. Lift the legs up, kind of like a frog, if you will. And inhale, lifting the head and shoulders up. Exhale, lifting the tailbone up. Keeping the head and shoulders raised. Inhaling back down the tailbone. Exhaling back up. Inhaling back down. Exhaling back up. Coming back down. Each of these you can do until you feel the burning's too intense, or 3 to 5 times is generally good. Again, you want to pay attention to the breath and keeping focus of that core support. Thank you guys so much all for your patience and willingness to listen to this. Have a great day. Namaste.